Well, Hollywood is definitely provocative. Gets the people going. Yes, it does. Wow. What's going on, you guys? James here with another real first impression, and today I'm taking a look at the first 2 hours of Hollywood, the latest Netflix original series from showrunners Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan. Both of them have done work on Glee, Scream Queens. Ryan Murphy is known for American Horror Story, so yeah, he's got his hand in a ton of successful shows. And so far, Hollywood has yet to disappoint. Now, before I get into what I absolutely loved and didn't really like about Hollywood, if this is your first time here at the channel, welcome to Real James. Now, if you're wondering who that is, that's me. And I love talking all about movies and TV shows. So if you love what you hear and what you see, go ahead and hit the big red button below and subscribe to the channel. Now, don't forget to tap on the bell right next to it just to stay up to date with new videos like this. Now, it's the first of the month, so yes, there's a lot of Netflix original content out there, and I did just drop my review for All Day and a Night, the latest from Ashton Sanders and Jeffrey Wright. You're going to want to check out that review in the description below. Now, guys, get active, like this video, share it with your friends, and in the comments below, let me know if you liked the beginning of Hollywood, how you feeling about the series so far. I'm curious to see what you guys think. Alrighty, guys, let me waste no more time and let's hop right into Hollywood. So Hollywood takes place in a post-World War II setting in this era in Hollywood, and what we're doing is getting a slice of life from this specific period. Now, it is a very vintage feel. I mean, from the clothing to the buildings, even the dialogue, and unfortunately, the racial tensions are also very Hollywood for this era. And what's great is that they introduce you slowly but surely to all of your main characters, and I think that Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan have a very interesting concept, but they've also corralled a ton of good directors and writers. So I was actually really impressed with how we started learning a lot about these characters, especially with our main character Jack, played by David Corenswet. He's a veteran who wants to be a movie star. I mean, just like about anyone in Hollywood wants to be a movie star, writer, or director, right? But the thing is, he's different. He has, a family on the way. He's expecting twins with his wife. However, he's finding it hard to break in. So one day at a bar, he meets this guy named Ernie. Ernie is played by Dylan McDermott, and he runs a gas station that uses their employees to service other cars and people. And yeah, I said people, trust me. Now, these people that he would go and of course provide company to is like high-level executives in Hollywood, casting directors, and basically everyone under the sun. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Now, there is one instance where he had to go and provide a service for a man, and he's like, no way, I'm not doing it. Then he somehow runs into another guy named Archie, played by Jeremy Pope, who he then enlists to also work with him. He's an aspiring writer, so they both want to make it big in Hollywood and have their dreams come true. And they both have internal conflicts that they have to deal with themselves. So now that I've kind of set up the landscape a little bit, and the show did a pretty decent job at actually writing in these characters, except for one instance. Let's get into what I actually enjoyed about episodes 1 and 2. So I'm really enjoying the dialogue so far. It has this swiftness to it, and there's an attitude and punch behind every single moment. Like I mentioned earlier, there's this vintage dialogue. I mean, the vibe is there. I mean, definitely the costume design is amazing. The sets are awesome, and they look so real. I really enjoy sometimes the turn with our main character. So Jack is propped up to be this like goody two-shoes veteran, wants to do everything right, and then he meets someone who throws him off his path, Ernie, and you can understand he's got layers to his character, that he's willing to do whatever it takes to provide a better life for his wife and his twins that are on the way. But the problem is he's enjoying this life too much, and he's living 2 lives. So it starts to get a little bit more complex. Now, when they introduce Jeremy Pope, who plays Archie, the aspiring writer, I think that's where the writing kind of takes a turn for the worst, because I don't think that it was written very well. Unfortunately, it felt to me like it was shoehorned into the script. Luckily, it gets past it a little bit. I just had an issue though. I mean, it's so coincidental. Jack dresses up as a policeman, goes and gets a costume from someone that works in Hollywood, goes to a movie theater where Archie happens to be, catches him doing something illegal, brings him to the nearby drugstore. They have a smoke, and then they talk about how they're going to work together. I didn't like it at all. It was way too forced. But then when you get past all of that, the writing again kicks up into overdrive, and then it ends on a really good hook. So at the end of the first hour, I wanted to watch episode 2. I mean, the series gets better from this point on, which is really great. In episode 2, I think that introducing more characters like Laura Harrier's character, Camille, Samara Weaving's character, I think it's just great that you start to get a better sense of the community that they're starting to build. And then we come upon Raymond Ainsley, played by Darren Criss, and he's my favorite of the bunch so far. There were many times throughout episode 2 that I was thinking, man, they're putting on an acting masterclass right now, and Jeremy Pope is no exception. There's this moment where he's with his boyfriend, Roy Fitzgerald, and they have this great chemistry going back and forth together. It's like one is motivating the other, and then the other's a little timid still, and they're breaking out of each other's shells. It's actually really, really well shot, well directed, and I love that the series doesn't necessarily hold back. However, that's both good and bad, because when I'm falling in love with these characters, I'm starting to understand the dynamic between all of them and how they kind of just like coincide and their paths can cross. The series then gets a little over-sexualized, and it's not that I can't handle it, it's just I would rather learn more about the characters and get quality dialogue, because what the series does is it shows the behind the scenes and sometimes a nasty part of Hollywood. And I don't think this is based on a true story at all, but it's probably based on a ton of true stories. So I would imagine that it's an amalgam. Is that how you say that word? So episode 2 definitely is the stronger of the bunch so far. I think that me being a fan of Spider-Man, of course, in the MCU, seeing Laura Harrier in Spider-Man Homecoming as Peter Parker's love interest made me really excited to see her in a more lead role here in Hollywood. She doesn't get that much play in episode 2, but what they do is they clearly set this foundation for Darren Criss's character, Raymond Ainsley, an up-and-coming director, to break the mold in Hollywood and kind of break down those walls, those racial tensions. I mean, of course, will be there, but he wants to go and set a new standard. And I think that's really cool. I love what his character is doing, and of course, he is with Laura Harrier's character, and they're in a relationship together. I love that. I think that those characters speak to me the most. However, it's really interesting to see where Jack is gonna go, because his wife is due soon, and he's acting like this. It's really just a lot of crisscrossing, but it's done very well. It's written cleanly, and I think the shots are actually really fun sometimes. Like, there's a frantic nature to them, so they go back and forth, and I like that. I think Ryan Murphy's got himself a winner so far, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the series. There's 7 episodes, so we got 5 more hours to go. I'm curious to see where everything goes, and yeah, I would say I recommend this. I just don't recommend this for the kids. It's definitely one of those series that it'll hook you after the first episode, and then episode 2 it just hits its stride. So I really enjoy everything that Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan has brought to the table with Hollywood so far. Alrighty, you guys, well, there you have it. Those are my real first impressions of the first 2 episodes of Hollywood. So if you liked everything you heard and saw, go ahead again and hit the big red button below. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Tap on the bell, like this video, share it with your friends, and get loud in the comments, you guys. I'm gonna want your opinion. Do you like Hollywood so far? Are you interested? Or do you fall on the other side where you kind of just don't care after 2 episodes? Alrighty, you guys, I'm gonna go get ready for episode 3. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you at the next screening.